Hey everyone, welcome back to this episode of I Date Money. I'm your hostess, Lisa Drennon, your wealth activator on a mission to help 1 million women become millionaires without sacrificing their self sovereignty. How? By falling head over heels in love with money. You want to find your true wealth? Go visit idatemoney.com. Check out your money archetype. Who is driving your financial decisions? And start to think about how you want to change that relationship with money. Today, this episode, we are focusing on that feeling, that deep tug. Have I made the wrong money moves? So, if you're someone who is staring at her bank account, feeling that, and maybe you have a thought that says, I want to grow, but I can't afford to make the wrong move. If that's you, let me tell you, you are not alone and you don't need to choose between playing small or going broke. Today, we're breaking down how to make soul aligned investment decisions when every dollar counts. So think about it. We're under a lot of pressure, right? The pressure to get it right, the pressure of, am I good enough? Am I worthy? Am I deserving? A lot of times we don't hit our ROI, we don't hit that profit margin goal because we really don't feel worthy to receive. But even if we do feel worthy to receive, we might not have the capacity to hold on to the money. And then it just vanishes in thin air, right? So in every season, when money feels tight, when there's all of our businesses go in seasons. We have our highs and lows when money's coming in, and you might go for a long period where you don't have income coming in from your business. Maybe you got like $100,000 check, and then all of a sudden nothing, right? Nada. And then you think, where should I invest? Should I do this? What do I need to do? And we panic. Panic sets in. And we start asking ourselves, and every investment starts to feel like a test. Should I buy the course, hire the coach, sign up for the program that promises I'll scale to $10,000 a month? This pressure isn't just financial, it's emotional. It's, will this finally be the thing that helps me feel safe, seen, and successful? I like to call it the shiny object syndrome. Trust me, I've had so many shiny object purchases. Sometimes I just want my money back. The money is never coming back in the way that I foresee it, right? So what happens is everything that we purchase helps us get to the next level. But we buy things with this anticipation that this is going to get me the ROI. Oh, look at that person. They made $10,000. But one, you have to be passionate about the thing that you're investing in. And two, if you don't share what you offer, how is anyone going to know that you have it? The key is to rinse and repeat over and over again. So when you think about your investments, here's the truth. No investment can give you what you won't give yourself first. And no investment is urgent when it's not aligned. So many times, I think I spent 3 solid years doing things that weren't aligned. I completely ignored my intuition. I went against that sacral yes. I went against my gut, and I'm like, I'm just going to do it anyways. I got so into my head that I didn't know which side was up, right? What was the right side? Was this the right decision? And I knew I was struggling in different areas. I knew, and I kept telling myself if I could just get good at sales and really not looking at the picture from a bird's point of view, right? Bird's eye view. How do I say that? Thinking about that. So I just want you to come back to your intuition, come back to trusting yourself, your gut. So what does your gut tell you? Here's a simple practice. Say the investment out loud. Notice how your body responds. Your body is going to speak out louder first, okay? Does it feel open and excited or tight and panicked? Sit with that answer before making the move. And here's what I teach my clients in the Wealth Accelerator. If it's not a full body yes, it's a not right now. It might not mean no, it's just not a good fit. And no doesn't mean it's not forever. It's just not right now, and that's okay. And voicing that, if you're on a sales call, I always tell my clients, I love giving referrals out. And I always tell my clients, I'm going to give you 3 names. Go check them out. And if I can't come up with 3 names, you go find 2 other names. I'll give you 1 name, but check them out. See how you feel. See what's your reaction. Pay attention to how you're reacting when you first connect with this person and ask yourself, is this a good fit? I'm interviewing VAs, and I interviewed a VA who I thought, yeah, she's a really good fit. She can do this. And then she started talking about, I asked some questions about what would a typical day for her look like working on my technical stuff. And, she had answered the questions, and I thought, if something told me, like, I am very like, one thing I don't like is when someone commits to a job, but then, they take forever to complete it. So I kind of know the time frame of what something can complete. But this person had said, there's all this tech, you don't know what's stuff going back in the background. And I'm like, no, I know about all the URLs and stuff. That's why I don't want to do it. So I was like, yeah, no, this wasn't a good fit. But initially I thought, oh yeah, this is promising. This conversation's going really well. So I listened to my sacral energy and I said, no, not right now. You know, and we think about that red flag, right? The red flag, green flag. When we're thinking about investments, now investments aren't just buying real estate or going into the stock market and funding your retirement accounts. Investments is anything that you spend your money on, whether you hire a coach, you buy a course, you get furniture for your house, whatever, anything that you use your money for, you are investing that money. You're taking that cash and you're investing it in something that you feel is going to help you get to the next level. It's going to help bring balance and alignment in your life. So I want you to pay attention to the red flags and really give yourself credit for this. A lot of times, if we default to a scarcity mindset, it's because we ignored the red flags. We did it anyways. And then we had so much shame and guilt and regret afterwards. We kept beating ourselves up. So the scarcity timelines, you have 24 hours or the price doubles, right? You better get it because the prices are increasing. Oh no, panic sense and FOMO. I better get it. The price is going to increase. That's not the way to make a decision. Promises that override your inner knowing are things that make you feel small if you say no. So when you really think about it, and this happened to me not too long ago, I was investing in a master class. And at first I was like, it's not aligned. No. And I searched it and I Googled it and I was so curious. And I thought, why am I so curious about this? And, I spent so many years hiding and not making decisions based on my own intuition. I always had to, big people pleaser over here, former people pleaser. And I had to ask everybody, do you think I should do this? I don't know. And, most of the time, like I would know if it was a good fit, but sometimes I would know that it wasn't a good fit and I would do it anyways because I thought I could see like something different, but it always ended up not being a good fit. I should have just listened to the intuition the first time. But when you get that red flag, your body knows when it's not aligned. You get this. I took a self defense class once with my daughter, and the instructor had said, you're in danger because there's this little tiny hair in the back of your neck that's fixed that goes up. You get that little feeling. Does anybody relate to that? And so when you get that feeling, when your stomach turns, when you're like, something's not right, pay attention, trust yourself. Okay, listen to those red flags. The green flags, all right? This is clear, spacious imitations. Programs that meet you where you are, coaches or tools that expand your capacity, not pressure it. There's no pressure. It's like, yeah, there's no attachment. Yeah, like this is a good fit. I want to do this. One of the things we do in the Wealth Accelerator is look at investments. I highly recommend a Roth IRA. And when you invest in a Roth IRA, if you do a self-directed fund, I use Fidelity, you can buy what you want as far as stocks, mutual funds. And we like to have a mixed portfolio. And, you want to do, some risk, some moderate, some conservative. And so when we look at it, I always tell my clients, okay, what do you feel comfortable investing in? Like, here's the percentages I recommend, not as a financial advisor, just as my personal opinion based on, just knowing what's going on with finances, how I set up my own portfolio. How do you feel about that? And really looking into that and saying, okay, yeah, this is good. And not making the decision right away, but thinking about it, contemplating it, and researching so that when you do make the investment, you put your money where your mouth is, so to speak, it's perfectly aligned and it's going to get you the ROI. And I like to say, like, a lot of times there's so many good coaches out there and all of their methods work, but they might not work for you. So you have to think about how that coach invited you into the program is how that program is going to be delivered and how they're going to teach you how they did it. Okay. Because that's what coaches are doing. They're giving you their shortcuts. Okay. So when you think about those investments, same thing when you're buying a product or, like a physical item, right? So if you're buying furniture, you can start shopping around. You can get the same exact furniture at a different dealer because of just volume and location and things of that nature. So you really want to start to think, is this a good investment? How is this investment going to help me grow? Is it aligned with my core values? Is it something that I need? Do I already own this? I know a lot of my clients have triple quadruple items. They've purchased the same things over and over again. So let's name it. Sometimes you deeply want something and it's just not the right time financially. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're honoring your nervous system and long game vision. So here's what you do: get clear on what the real desire is underneath the investment. Ask yourself, how can I meet this need creatively now? You might not want to get into debt. One of my favorite things to do, and I teach this in the Wealth Accelerator, is leverage your debt. When you think about it, borrowing other people's money to make your own money grow is genius, right? But you got to be careful, especially if you were like me and you're in a bad habit of racking up 0% credit cards to the point where you were like in $100,000 worth of debt. We don't want to do that. We want to treat our credit cards like cash. But if you get that 0% and you want to invest in a program to let your money grow in a savings account or an investment account, that's going to help you, right? So set a savings plan, create a money bucket. When you create that intention and say, you know what, I want to invest in this. And when I'm going to do this to get that, right? This is how I ended up working 3 side gigs plus my full-time job and overtime, is because I had these money goals set on. I want to be able to travel. I want to be able to get a remodeled kitchen, remodeled bathrooms. So I would set these money buckets and then I would start funding them. And I would take advantage of those 0% credit cards, but then it got out of hand. So it's very, very important to date your money weekly and stay on top of it and make sure you're not getting in over your head. And ask yourself, I'm not missing out. If I don't get this now, is it going to be available to me later? Is it something that I need right now? So it has to be aligned. And this is when you're going to see the best ROI. Because when you allow your money to grow while you're deciding whether or not to invest it, to spend it on something, you're having that balance in your life. You're truly finding your wealth. I like to call that, like the line of security and safety, where I say, okay, I'm drawing the line. This purchase helps me or doesn't help me, and weighing out those pros and cons and really just doing that reflection. So here's a question I want you to contemplate. What was the last investment you made that truly paid off and why? And here's a bonus. What did I learn from that one that didn't? And it's not about guilt. It's not about shame. It's about discernment. It's about looking at yourself and saying, you know what? I trust myself to make very good decisions. I'm a financial genius. I make the best financial decisions and I'm teaching my kids to do the same because money and I, we are partners. So I would love to hear your story. Maybe you want to come on the show and be a guest. And maybe you're someone who's looking for help with this. You're like, you know what, Lisa, I hear what you're saying. I get it. But I look at my numbers and they look like a scrambled mess. I don't make enough to create money buckets to save, to invest. Everything I make goes back into my business. And I totally get that. You're not alone. There's so many out there who do that. But what if you could have a spending plan in place, your own customized money map that allows you to get exactly what you want while you're saving, while you're giving, while you are investing? This is what the Wealth Accelerator is all about. It's a 12-week program where you get to come in with other ladies with very similar backgrounds to you and create a money system that helps you find true wealth. You get your P&L matching your bank accounts. Your taxes are paid. No more delaying those taxes. No more this, oh, I need an extension. No more of taking all of your money and putting it back into your business. You get to pay yourself first. Your cash flows so that you can build that beautiful wealth legacy and carry that on to the 7th generation. Imagine having finances so pristine that when you open up your app, you know exactly where your money's going. You can get the money map. You can check the show notes for the link. It's a simple Google sheet that helps you create your money buckets, your future funds, your expenses in both your business and your personal. And when you set this up, it's going to show you exactly how every dollar is being spent. And it's going to give you that peace, that security that you've been looking for. And it's going to help you build the trust so that you can become a millionaire, so that you can become a multimillionaire, so that you can teach your children this stuff. Because it's not about hustling. It's not about, making more money. It's about using the money that you have in a way that brings you fulfillment. Because remember, it doesn't matter how much money you have, it's what you do with it.